Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Engine Room podcast. We are back again, but in slightly different circumstances, slightly sadder circumstances too, because John isn't with us. He has other commitments. So it's just me and BUGA. BUGA, how are you doing and how sad are you that John isn't here?
I'm very sad. I'm very sad because Barca drew United. I'm very sad because John isn't here. And I'm very sad because, I don't know, I was going to say something else, but
Not for the podcast.
No, not for the podcast. Not for the podcast. This is for me and Pablo after recording.
Yeah. So we're back again today, though, guys. Hopefully you still enjoy. Of course, me and BUGA are still going to be going over all of the hot topics that have happened in the last, 2 to 5 days or so with football since the last pod results. We do actually have quite a lot to talk about. We're going to crack straight into actually something that came up and, of course, is very relevant to me and BUGA as Barcelona fans and very relevant to the world of football. Gerard Piqué announced out of absolutely nowhere that he was retiring from international football and that the game against Almeria on Saturday would have been his last at Camp Nou. So Piqué is now done. He may not even play against Osasuna tomorrow for Barca. His career as a footballer is over. He announced it. BUGA, I'm going to hand over to you first because I think we might actually do a bit of back and forth on this. There might be quite a few angles we want to take and discuss about Piqué's retirement, his career, and everything surrounding this topic. So what have you got for us on Piqué?
The very first thing I want to say, yes, he's actually been called up. I didn't know that. He's been called up to the game against Osasuna. So do you think he could play? I don't think he would, because I think it would, but it would just be like anticlimactic after what happened on the weekend.
Agreed.
Anyhow, it caught me up at a surprise. It really caught me. I was sick during the week. I was very sick. I'm not going to get into details, but let's say I have the complete package when it comes to being sick. And I was just lying on the bed. I was like trying to survive. And then I saw Piqué officially retires. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, I just caught me by surprise. It really came out by surprise. I was not expecting it at all. I do believe that, here's where I want to ask you, Pablo. Do you feel that this is something that maybe Piqué did already know and communicated to the board and maybe to Xavi and just them? Because I think in the press conference, Xavi said that definitely Piqué took the decision after they had a conversation during the summer. And for me, that's like, maybe they had some small talk here and there about that before. But anyhow, I think that it comes in a moment where I didn't expect it. I would have expected it definitely not halfway through the season. I think we've never seen this before. Like normally it's at the end with a huge crowd and whatever, but it was just really weird. And I think that that's just encompassing of what Piqué really is. Piqué is just someone spontaneous like that. And yeah, I'm really going to miss him. It really hit me more than I actually anticipated. For me, since I ever started watching Barcelona, Piqué has been there. There's always been 4 players. It's been Messi, it's been Piqué, it's been Busquets until now, I guess. And of course, the Xavi and Iniesta. But the thing is that until now, Piqué has been in every single team I've watched. Every single season, he has been there. So it was difficult. It was weird. It was, I'm not going to say the same impactful or wow or sadness as when Messi left, but it felt weird. It felt weird.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, in terms of when Piqué made that decision, I think we know that Xavi spoke to Piqué in the summer and told him that you will have less minutes this season. Piqué sort of ignored it and said, I'll play anyway. He didn't play anyway. And I think it's come to the point now after the Inter game, the fans started whistling him. It just got a bit ugly for Piqué, and I think he made that decision. I think what I'd say on Piqué is, first of all, a big thank you. I'm a bit similar to you, obviously. As soon as I got into football, Piqué was there, Spanish national team, Barcelona. I've never supported Barca without Piqué being in the heart of defence. It's just the norm. So it's sad to see him go, of course. And he is a legend of Barca, one of the best centre-backs I've seen for sure in my time as a football fan. But I think Piqué has done it to restore his reputation. That's why he's done it mid-season, because he felt himself slipping, like I said, being whistled, fans turning against him, all of the rumours about him falling out with Messi, causing issues in the dressing room, the conflict of interest with stuff like the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia, all these audios being leaked with Rubiales, the president of the Spanish FA, loads of kind of scandals around Piqué, and I think this almost saves him. This says, no, I said I would leave if the team needed new blood, and if I wasn't playing, and I'm going to actually do it. And I think that's what he's done by leaving in November. It's a very shock turn of events. He doesn't even wait till the end of the season, and that's why I think Piqué has saved it. We've got to wait and see what he does with his salary. We know Barcelona owe him an awful lot of money still, an unbelievable amount of money, in fact. We're hearing he's going to give at least a big chunk of that up. We've got to see how much it is. I think Laporta said we'll still need to negotiate. That comes into a big part of where Piqué's legacy lies. and I honestly think in the 2026 elections, is it Barcelona, that Gerard Piqué will be running. I think he will be running. I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there against someone. I think he will. I think I saw at the end of his little farewell video where he said, "I'll be back," and he looked up at where the president sits, and I just thought, I think you will be back. And if it's not this time around, I think it'll be next time around. But Piqué is already so immersed in the business world. I got to say, from a less romantic point of view, looking at Piqué's career, it was all a bit controversial towards the end. Like I said, the fallout with Messi, almost how much money he stole from the club in the way through Bartomeu. I think the players agreed we're not going to renew our contracts anymore with Bartomeu. Piqué went to Bartomeu and demanded to be the best paid centre back in the world, and he got that massive contract that Barcelona now have to pay back. We know what he did with the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. He essentially told Rubiales where to put the money. We know he demanded to Rubiales that he'd go to the Olympics. All these things that Piqué kind of got involved with. We know his eye was wandering from football. We saw his performances dip, and he was more interested in money and finances and all these business deals and whatnot. So I think Piqué was getting a bit sour, and I think he has almost caught himself here in midair, and that's what I think will save his legacy quite nicely because, as a footballer, we've got to remember Piqué well. But there were certainly bits towards the end that maybe tilted his perspective a little bit.
Do you think that's the I don't know. I feel that Piqué still kind of envisages his career or whatever he does in football not over. I feel that playing is over, but you're saying president-wise or whatever he's gonna do, he feels he's much more important than that. And in a way, I value that. Right? It takes someone to feel that they are the very best on top for everything, so that they can achieve the very best. But anyhow, do you feel that something of that had to do with precisely why Xavi also didn't select him at the start? Maybe he knew, he 100% knew, okay, Piqué's head is not in the game, and we need to find a way out of him. And I'm actually surprised that it took this long. For Piqué, it's surprising that he actually decided now. And I don't know, what do you think was the catalyst that made him go okay, I need to do something? I think it was the fact that he did mention how it affected him that he felt the fans no longer respect him in the game against Inter. And I think that's a moment where Piqué always had some Barca crowd that were okay, we're still behind you no matter what. Yeah. But it's I don't want to mention this, but the Shakira incident and all of that. And it's that can turn people very sour. And it's that moment came in the Inter game and he just saw well, I'm no longer respected. I need to leave or whatnot. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point. I mean, we already saw in pre-season he was whistled in America because of cheating on Shakira, so that came into it. I mean, it's I feel like his reputation was dipping in the last year or so, I have to say. I really feel like it was. I mean, with Piqué, I think Xavi had that conversation, with him and said, I don't feel like you're fully committed to the team and that you're not going to be our first choice centre-back. We're going to have 3 or 4 players ahead of you. But I think Piqué, and maybe rightly so because of history, thought every other season I'd play anyway, no matter what, no matter who comes in, I'm going to start and I'm going to be Barca's best centre-back, and that's how it's been for a lot of years. We maybe thought Piqué would be phased out after Roma, and he still had all those seasons as our best centre-back. So, I mean, I think Piqué kind of thought, bullshit, I'm still going to be here. And it obviously didn't happen. And I think when he came into the games against Inter, playing poorly, being embarrassed, with the thing with the hands up where he left the ball for Barella to tap it in, the stuff like that. And then being whistled by the Camp Nou is a massive thing because I think Piqué always feels like Mr. Barcelona, Mr. Catalunya, and he's always going to have Camp Nou behind him. But the fact that they were whistling him, I think that was a massive turning point for him. Yeah, definitely. As a president, would you like him to come back? Because that's the thing I feel right now. I feel that if he starts running initially when this Laporta first reign finishes, I don't know if it will be the best then for him just yet. I don't think it will be the best because he would completely cut the project in half. Yeah. And also, I'm not too sure whether I feel he has the experience or whatever we need to lead us there. I don't know. I need to see more of Piqué in that aspect. I know he's done incredibly well, for instance, in the Copa Davis for tennis, creating this World Cup for tennis. And that's massive. But the thing is that how actually much of control that he has in that, right? It's more that his business and can he run this club? That's I don't know. I'm not that confident. People may go, it's not like, you know what, here, I'll put it like this. I don't think that Piqué coming back as a president is when people go oh, we need Xavi Iniesta back, we need Puyol back in the club. I think this one is you know what? Maybe I'm not too sure because Piqué is a legend, but it's how influential is he when it comes to like more thinking more of himself rather than the club? It's weird because you do respect how much he bleeds through Barcelona, but sometimes he likes to be, I don't know, a bit narcissistic. So I don't know how to how do you balance that?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I'm sure as the elections come closer, we'll figure out whether Piqué runs again. I think you're right that it'll be weird for Piqué, obviously, because obviously he'll be the president of a team that's got players that he played with it in it. So I don't know. It would be really strange, that dynamic. And also, you're right. It's like, who says he'll be a good president? Just because he's even a footballer, to be the president of Barcelona, like a Laporta sort of character, that's a massive step. So I don't know. You're right. We'll have to wait and see about that. But I do think he will be Barca president one day. And I don't know. I just get an inkling that by 4 or 5 years' time, he would think, I'm ready now. He's going to be out of football for 5 years. So I think he'll think, I'm going to go for it. Let's move on, because there were some really interesting games in the Premier League this weekend that I think we've got to talk about in this podcast. Where do you want to start, Bulgar? I'll give you a choice of 3. Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, and Aston Villa, Man U.
I kind of want to start with Liverpool just because I think that's the one that's there's less to say.
Go for it. What are your thoughts?
Dude, Spurs are so boring. Spurs are so one-dimensional. Spurs are so, like, I still feel they can get top 4, but it's just, like, simply because, like, they just racked good enough points. And Liverpool are so far behind. United are still struggling, and Chelsea look a little bit shaky. Like, I feel that against, you know, like, I want to say like the Brightons, but Brightons is no longer that thing. Brighton is actually a good team. I'm going to say like against a Bournemouth, a Brentford, it's like they can get a 1-0 win and they'll be fine, you know. But against the bigger teams, they're in that point where you just don't see them racking up the points that is necessary for them to actually progress. I don't know what Conte is doing. I really don't know what Conte is doing. He's just sticking with the formation that he wants to play. He played, if I'm not wrong, did he play Sessegnon as a right wing? Oh no, he played Sessegnon as a right wing back in the Champions League, and to just stick Perisic there in the left wing. But it's like stuff like that. I don't really understand from Conte. I feel they have so much talent. The only good part of Tottenham for me is their attack and the two in midfield. I think Betancourt has been amazing, honestly, and also the same with Højbjerg. But apart from their defense and whatnot, they're too one-dimensional. And even in their own stadium, they look bad. They were booed at halftime, 2-0 down.
Yeah.
I know. And I've been to the Tottenham Stadium, and you can see how big of a monumental like architecture is that. You know, things like that makes Tottenham wanted to progress to the next level. They wanted to be the next team. But right now they just look like I stick them right next to what a Sevilla is. You know, like a Sevilla, a Villarreal. Even Villarreal has more trophies, you know, things like a team like that. I was going to say Atletico, but Atletico, I think, I don't know. But they're there. In terms of form, they're there. They don't have what it takes currently for me to be that next step. And it's just, I think the thing is also, I think their squad is very bad. I feel they have bad players.
Okay, yeah. I got to say, on Tottenham, for me, it's a case of them, again, not being good enough in big games. Tottenham probably came into that game thinking we can beat Liverpool here, as other big sides have done this season, because Liverpool have been having a shaky campaign. But it was a result that I thought we'd see last season, and Liverpool turned the game. They managed to get a big win away from home, something that they haven't managed to do very often this season. 2 Salah goals, Darwin Núñez looking more on form. And for Tottenham, I know they clawed back in the second half and maybe should have had more from the game, but again, in big games, not good enough. Not good enough for me. And I think you're right about Conte. It's very stubborn and it's very boring. And Conte isn't really going to change that. He's not going to go into, you know, midweek with the players and go, right, lads, we're going to change something up here. It's Antonio Conte, you know. So the Conte and Spurs thing, you really wonder where it's going. And you've got to say for Tottenham again, not good enough for me.
Liverpool, he's not renewing. He's not renewing yet. No, I don't think there's any news on that.
Well, there's always the rumour of Juventus, of course, with Allegri doing so poorly. But Juve are staying with Allegri. If I was Juve, I'd be going back for Conte. And I think they maybe should. I think Conte might walk as well. And he'd maybe go back to Juve. And that would wreak havoc at Tottenham, by the way, because they adore that man. How far back do you think Liverpool will come this season?
How far back? Like how
much they've regressed? Do you think they're going to turn into a top 4 team again and climb the table? Or do you think it's still too up and down?
I'm seeing more consistency from Liverpool now. I do feel that they can climb certainly back to a top 4 position. Can they do it? I think that would be an achievement. Like, it would be an achievement if they are able to climb all the way back up. But I could see them, I don't know, going far in the cups, going maybe far in the semifinal. We know we're going to talk about Champions League later, but maybe the Champions League. I feel that formation, that new diamond that they're employing with Roberto Firmino behind 2 strikers, which are Salah and somebody else, which is Darwin Núñez. I think it works. We saw Darwin Núñez shifting a little bit more to the left on Benfica. Salah just has that profile to play for the middle, for the right. It works. I like that. And Roberto Firmino provides a little bit more cover for the midfield. I think if they can get a midfielder in the winter transfer window, they can certainly start coming back up, because I see more consistency from Liverpool. But I guess it's just the same problems like always. It's like Trent Alexander-Arnold was so good because he had Henderson at its peak, and Henderson could cover up the wing whenever he pushed forward. They don't have that anymore. They need somebody who can do that job. So if Klopp can understand a little, it's similar actually between Liverpool and Klopp. What do you think? Because they're kind of stubborn in the way that they want. Liverpool not like Klopp says, like, this is a problem, but I'm going to stick with Henderson. I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to stick with him. Stick with him.
Yeah.
Whilst Conte's a little more formation-wise. So in player selections, Klopp is stubborn. In formation, Conte is stubborn. But yeah, I feel they can climb back up. I'm seeing more consistency, and I like that from Liverpool.
Well, obviously, I mean, Liverpool, I think their transfer policy comes into a lot of what they do. We saw rumours from David Ornstein that FSG were going to be selling the club. That was later denied by FSG in a statement to The Athletic. So that's a bit in the air, but that could be something that comes on the horizon, because obviously that changes things massively for Liverpool. People have said that FSG have maybe been holding Liverpool and Klopp back over the last few years. So if a sale has happened, you know, and a big buyer comes in from America or the Middle East, and that changes things, of course, for Liverpool. Let's touch on Aston Villa Man U, of course. Unai Emery's first game back in the Premier League, victory for him against, well, Ten Hag's flying Man U at the time. What's your take on that? Because we spoke quite positively about Man U and Ten Hag last week, but was it a bit more of a reality check? And also for Villa, how good news is it to have Emery in the Prem?
I want to start with you. I'm just going to say quickly, Emery. Yep. I know you like Emery quite a lot. And or do you? Well, do you hate him? I don't know. Maybe John. I don't know. Someone liked Emery.
I do like and rate Emery, but no, he's not my favourite. Maybe because of the Arsenal thing. I don't know. I rate him. I think he's a good manager for clubs like Villarreal, to be fair. Good appointment by Villa. I'm a bigger fan of Lopetegui, to be fair. I like Lopetegui a lot. But
and he's one Emery, to Wolves, right?
Yeah. Emery, I think, is a very good coach. And that's a massive win for him on his first game, by the way. Massive.
Yeah, it's really big. Like, I think it's the first time they beat United since like 1982, something crazy like that. Yeah, in their stadium, something like that.
Yeah.
And I've read something like that. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe I don't know what it is. It was something like maybe 3 goals. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But I like that from Emery. I think Emery is a very, you know what? Look, I think he's very professional, and I will always rate that. Like, I don't know. If I'm a club owner and I want a project, I think Emery could be that, because it matches the vision, and I think that it matches what Emery wants in his career. I recently saw the interview that he had with Football Daily, and he was talking about like how it was so important for him coming back to the Premier League, how he wanted to regroup and wanted to grow, and how I feel that Aston Villa matches kind of Emery in the sense that I think Emery is that type of coach that wants to get to the Europa League, or can push a team to European positions, can put them into a solid campaign and continue like bang, bang, bang on there and competing for those European spots. I think Emery can do that. And the Aston Villa has a very good squad. Like, let's be honest, they got a very good squad. Like, they shouldn't be where they were under Gerard, and they have that good squad. So let's see how they can manage to progress. I'm going to be very interested to see whether he can turn this around quickly. But I feel that Aston Villa just have bought themselves or brought themselves a very good manager. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I rate him quite a lot.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really strong appointment for a club that far down the table. Similar to Wolves with Lopetegui, by the way. That's 2 massive appointments. Not very good for the look of La Liga either, by the way. For Man U, I don't know about reality check is the right word, but maybe it is, because probably Man U, with their squad, aren't expected to be second, first or third. Maybe they are just looking for that 4th spot. They had a few injuries on Sunday, and they had to bring players like Van der Beek in, Garnacho on the wing, who looks very good, by the way, and Ronaldo, again, when he starts, just isn't the same this season. So I think they were missing a few players and just wasn't good enough. Even at the back as well, was no Varane next to Lisandro Martinez, so bad day at the office for Man U. Another team I had a bad day at the office though is Chelsea. And I've got to say some words on Chelsea first of all, and then I'll hand over to you because we've spoken quite a lot about Chelsea under Potter since he came in, obviously. It started really positively. You'll notice the theme of me was quite a lot of like skepticism. Just for a long time when we talked about Graham Potter at Chelsea, I was always holding back. And this was kind of why, because I asked this question for the last 2 weeks. It was how good actually are Chelsea under Potter? And I think we're getting the answers. I don't think Chelsea are improving in the attack. We've got nothing going forward. I think formation and structure-wise, we're a mess. Defensively, we're not improving. Formation is a big thing for me because it's changing every week, and I think it's minimalising players. I think his team selections are very odd. Benching players like Kovacic for games against Arsenal doesn't make any sense to me. And I think Chelsea now are going to have to accept for the first time, and it doesn't really work for Chelsea, that it's going to be more of a project. I think that's where the uproar comes. Chelsea claim they want a project, but then also say we need Champions League football. That often that doesn't work because you have look what Arsenal had with Mikel Arteta, where they waited a few years without Champions League football, and they accepted that now for how they're doing now. We'll get on to Arsenal in a minute, perhaps, when I hand over to you. But with Chelsea, it's often we need success now, and that's why these foreign tacticians come in and win quick for Chelsea, and it works, and that's kind of the culture of the club. So when you come in now, bring in someone like Graham Potter, who might take a few years to build something different, to have a completely different like culture at Chelsea, it's a bit of a culture shock for us fans, I've got to say. And that's why I was always behind Thomas Tuchel and these sorts of coaches, because I just thought, someone like Potter, is this actually going to work? We've questioned that many weeks in a row now. And I think maybe we're seeing the answers. Well, is it going to work? I'm willing to be patient enough, but what we're seeing from Chelsea right now, in my opinion, is no way near good enough. I'm not hopeful for any game we go into. I just don't like what I'm seeing, BUGA. I've got to tell you, man.
Do you think that Potter, or the thing I believe why Potter was so good like at a team like Brighton is because you knew he's going to have 100% control of whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like the thing is that he was bigger than any player.
Yeah.
Or in a sense, he could be, right? There's an argument that he could say that to the dressing room. But here, that's not the case. Like, I feel you also, since you spent so much money on bringing other players, one, he doesn't have the squad that he like has envisioned for himself.
Yep.
And two, you're battling out with Todd Bowley, who we all know likes also to have control. When you have two alphas, normally you don't have a good understanding. Yeah. So it's like, for me, that's a difference, right? A problem. I think Bowley may be like, you gotta play Pulisic. And Graham Potter is like, okay, but I how do I make this work? Bang, right wing back, things like that. I feel that's where you struggle a bit. So I don't know how these two things will coexist. I think that's where you can find a little bit of trouble. Do you think that's the case? Do you see that?
I don't know. I think one of the main reasons Potter was brought in was to get along more with Bowley, and I think he probably will because I don't know him well enough, obviously, but to me he doesn't strike me as much of a character as Thomas Tuchel. Maybe that'll make him last longer at Chelsea because that'll mean the players won't turn on him so quickly. Because the way he speaks after defeats, I think, is pissing fans off a lot, and I think it's a worry of slipping into like mediocrity. And I think Chelsea. What he has been saying, it's just all like, well, we huffed and puffed, we fought. I thought the lads gave great effort, quite like Sunday League comments after games, and I think that often doesn't go down well. Chelsea are used to foreign tacticians who analyse and unpick games and were at least tactically sound. And when we're just saying, well, we gave it a good go. Arsenal are a great team on form. We'll pick ourselves up and go again, but we're just losing and getting worse. That doesn't go down well. Not in top football, not at Chelsea. So I think that's where Potter will have to either switch or learn on the job. And I think it's like you said, like at Brighton, he was kind of the biggest guy there. He's not the biggest guy here at Chelsea. So let's see, because I think what he needs to rely on is how good of a manager he is, which I think he is. And maybe I
think that's where you also say like learning on the job is important, because I put Potter more in the bracket of managers like an Arteta, Guardiola, Xavi, who like you need that project, right? You create that project. I feel that, but I also feel two things. I feel he wants to be in control of that, like a Xavi, all of them. But the thing is that he also doesn't have, like you were saying, the experience on retrospect of how to manage in the top club, and that shows. Like that. If you haven't been part of a top team, like literally the first game against, was it Dinamo Zagreb? His first ever Champions League experience ever.
Salzburg.
Like he has Salzburg. He didn't even go to a Champions League match before. That was his first time he heard the anthem live, and it's like maybe you and I have more experience on that front. So it's like that's a little bit worrying when you're thinking like how to manage at the top club, because sometimes he might have all the right ethics, right? The right things, the right profile to do the job, but you do need experience to say like how to, like you say, manage the press conference room, the answers, the questions, all of that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. On a flip side, then, BUGA, put me on my misery. How good are Arsenal looking, do you think?
They're looking amazing. They completely bad. They played with the foot. That's the best way I can say. They played with their foot. Maybe not so much. They weren't as clinical, but there were plenty of chances for Arsenal. They controlled the game, and I think that's the biggest credit that you can give to a team where, even though Chelsea were always in the game, like by the 70th minute or something like that, I remember when Pulisic came in, I had this feeling like, okay, maybe Chelsea can get back in the game, but I was like, what? How far are they actually? And it felt like there were 4 goals between them, but it was only 1. So that's what I felt. I felt like this game was already from the get-go. Chelsea didn't know how to react. It felt like there was such a bigger goal margin, and that's a credit I can give to Arsenal because they just completely ran the show. Like there was moments where Chelsea came in and had a little bit of spark, a little bit of hope, but not that much. I just want to say that I feel that Arteta has really changed this team. Like I did a video on my channel, I feel there are 5 steps that every club should learn from this team because actually it's been great. First of all, patience. I think the patience that they have given to Arteta, it shows how it can work out. Then kind of scheming the squad, being able to trim it and cut it as he wants, as he pleases. And it's weird to see something like Arteta didn't want Aubameyang, and now Aubameyang is there at Chelsea. It's stuff like that really makes you think what happened there at Chelsea, right? And then you see like the recruitment is very smart. Every single player that he's bringing is been directly for that position, and he knew from the get-go what he wanted. I feel that's, for instance, talking a little bit about Barca, that's where Xavi, for instance, doesn't really know that much. Like I feel he comes to Barca, he knows what they need, but he's like, but how do I make this work? And I feel that Arteta already had like a plan. I'm going to stick with it. Bang. I need this player, that player, this, that. And in those 4 years, everything worked towards that. Everything worked towards this moment where you can see now Xhaka moving a little bit further forward. And that's also an aspect where you need to give kudos to his man management. He rescue players. You need to give credit to a manager that rescues a player. Like Xhaka was in the level as a Hazard, I'm going to say like a Frankie de Jong, players like that who are like amazing at the club, but they're not being used. And it's like he rescued a player like that. And there's kudos to that as well. And I feel that now clear patterns of play, everything works for Arsenal. And for me, like I said, it's time. It's time, it's patience. They gave him the time to succeed. And if Chelsea want, like a project, that's precisely what they need to follow. And
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we're going to move on quickly then, BUGA, because we, of course, today had the Champions League and also the Europa League draws. Some big ties coming out, and I think we've got to speak about them. Of course, very raw, only a few hours ago, so that's up-to-date stuff from us here. So we've got lots to talk about. We're going to go through tie by tie, and I'm going to let you, pause up on a few that you want to maybe give a few more details about. First one, interesting one, actually. Maybe not, the big tie, but Club Brugge versus Benfica. 2 sides who really impressed in the group stages, maybe even especially Benfica topping a group with Juventus and PSG in it. So how do you see that one going?
Look, I love Ferran Jutgla, who's the striker for Bruges, but I think this Benfica side are just wait. I feel the one thing that could be negative for Benfica is the World Cup. Like that could not because they don't have that many players going. I feel like Rafa Silva may be the only one going. Who else? Maybe Alexander Ba, the right back for Denmark. They don't have that many players going to the World Cup. Am I missing anyone? I don't know. But the thing is that I feel for a team like this, you need the rhythm. Right? You need the consistency to be playing as good. And I feel that could affect them a bit. And Club Brugge already, we saw them frailing a little bit by the end of the group stages. Yeah. They were top, they finished second. But I think Benfica are just going to go through. I really feel Benfica can be an underdog this season. And this Champions League is going to be different. I think we're not going to be seeing the normal big teams in the semifinals. I feel we're going to be seeing some maybe teams here and there, because if it all only takes one bracket or one side of the bracket to be Benfica versus Napoli, and you'll have one of them in the top 4. It only takes that.
Yeah, fair point. I agree with you. I think I've been really impressed with Club Brugge this season. I love Jules Glad, but I think Benfica are going to go through. Liverpool versus Real Madrid is maybe there's other ones, but it's maybe the blockbuster tie of the draw because it's a big tie early on. We've seen Liverpool struggling this season. Real Madrid have been flying for the most part. I think Real Madrid are going through here, BUGA. I know it's the easy option. I know because we praise Real Madrid so much in the podcast and just say how they always win.
We love Real Madrid.
We're such huge Real Madrid fans, aren't we? So,
no.
But I think Real Madrid are going to go through. I think Liverpool have had a poor season, but I think also even if Liverpool had a good season, like last season or the season before, I'd even then be putting Real Madrid to go through because I just think they're too good in these sorts of games. But do you think actually Real would be going out in the round of 16 here, or do you think they're too strong?
Look, I feel I'm going to talk a little bit about both. I feel Real Madrid are the easy one. Yes, I actually think they're going to go through as well.
Yeah.
I feel it's just too easy for them. Really, like I said, they have plenty of players going to a World Cup, so we don't know how it's going to affect them. That's the one thing. This is the first season that we don't know how it's going to affect them. We don't know. We don't know because Vinicius Junior, Benzema, Valverde, Modric, all of them are titles, right? Are starters for their teams in the World Cup. So I don't know how they're going to be fatigued. Are they going to be upset?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. The thing is also that I feel that Real Madrid, they just benefit so much from having the second game at the Bernabeu. And no matter what the result is at Anfield, I feel they'll be able to turn it around there. Like that's just a fortress when it comes to the Champions League. And they're going to be able to take that. In the case of Liverpool, I am a little bit worried in the sense that maybe this cannot be a battering, but just how much can they actually push this Real Madrid side? If there's one thing that I'll be looking as a upside is that for the very first time they're not favorites or nobody says like, oh, they're gonna be destroying Real Madrid. So that could work a little bit in the favor of Real Madrid. We all know there are two weaknesses for Real Madrid. Two weaknesses. Pablo, can you guess them? Two weaknesses.
I don't know if there's any weaknesses in Real Madrid.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the two, and you're gonna say, "Oh, right."
Okay.
There are two weaknesses for Real Madrid.
Let me see.
Number one is Barcelona. That's the number one weakness of Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid can beat any team in Europe, but Barcelona they can also beat Real Madrid. They're only scared of that. And the other problem is that Real Madrid. The other weakness of Real Madrid is when they what's the word in English? Cuando se creen, like when they're full of themselves and they feel like, we can win this game.
They get too cocky.
They get too cocky and they're like, we can win this game. And then like, bang, out of nowhere, and that's the one thing. If Liverpool wants to progress, that's the one thing that I feel Real Madrid could help them with, in a way.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I know what you mean, because like, even, for example, the Champions League final last season, I mean, I thought Real Madrid, just because of what I'd seen, but people were saying, no, Liverpool are going to punish Real Madrid here. And they liked that, didn't they? They liked being almost like a mini underdog.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. RB Leipzig with Manchester City. I know it's obvious to say, but in my opinion, City are actually I think they're going to comfortably dispatch of them. Let's see what Nkunku, Werner and Co can do. But second leg of the Etihad as well. Come on, BUGA. Are City going to wipe the floor with them with Erling Haaland?
Dude, Haaland is going to be in a cryo-frozen chamber for the entirety of the World Cup, for the entirety of November. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be seeing like all the goals in the World Cup, and he's going to be like, dude, I just need to score more.
Yeah.
And like, that's the best thing I can say, honestly. Literally, their best player is just like going to be prepared for that game. So
yeah.
I feel that's what Haaland can give. It's easy. See the win.
Comfortable pass for City. Into Porto. How are you feeling about this one? Because I'm a little bit torn on this one, especially the fact that Inter aren't at San Siro for second leg, if I'm correct. So does that change anything for you?
I'm honestly, I was thinking the same. I feel that this one, if there's one game, I think there are maybe 3 games that could go like to penalties or that, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
I feel that Inter Porto is the one that, can go to penalty or something like that. Because look, I would normally, if it was the other way around in terms of order. So first they play at the Estadio do Dragao and then they play at the Giuseppe Meazza. I think, yes, I could see Inter going through because they can just sit back, defend the first leg and then do whatever they want on the second. But this one is different. They're normally the team that likes to sit back and in the home they're going to be expected to go to attack. And what happens if it's like a 2-2 draw and Porto score? Because Porto can harm you. Porto can harm you. And that's the thing. I think they're gonna be caught between a rock and a hard place trying to decide what's gonna be their approach on this one. And Porto, we all know it's just simply gonna be balanced all around. So I think this one is tight. But if I had to go with one, I'm just gonna say Inter edge it, but But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Inter edge it, but I think it's a good tie for Inter, obviously, draw wise, finishing second in the group and drawing Porto. But I don't think it's going to be as comfortable as it maybe should be. I think this is going to take extra time in the second leg.
Yeah, let's remember.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's remember two things. First of all, Porto has Diogo Costa, which is playing so good, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And secondly, they are the first team, I think, ever to lose the first two games or 3 games of the group stage and come out on top of the group. Or no, the first team to lose the first 2 matches and come out on top of the group.
Yeah.
Because they won every single one after that.
Yeah.
So they're in a good run of form. They're in a very good run of form.
Yeah. Back to Chelsea then. Dortmund versus Chelsea. First leg in Germany, second leg at the Bridge in London in England for Chelsea. I think this is not a get-out-of-jail card for Chelsea, but I think it's a solid draw for Chelsea. I think Dortmund are a side that you can expose, and they're a side that you can make look quite small on the night. I think they're a side that you can put under big pressure, and they can, like I said, make errors at the back. But we've got to see, though, you know what I mean? Because of how Chelsea have been playing, I think everyone's a bit sceptical about saying Chelsea will go through right now. A lot can change by the time February comes around, which was what we've got to remember. But I think for now, for Chelsea, people aren't as confident as they maybe should be for this tie, because I think overall, I don't know if you'd agree, but I think it's a decent tie for Chelsea. It's quite a good tie. But I think right now, Dortmund will probably be thinking, actually, that's not bad news for us. But I think by the time February comes around, if Chelsea are on a good spot, they will be expecting to beat Dortmund, especially with a second leg in London.
Yeah, I think it's a good tie for Chelsea, but it's also a good tie for Dortmund.
Yeah, okay.
That's the way I put it. That's the way I put it. It's also a good tie for Dortmund. I feel Chelsea a favorite, but Dortmund as well shouldn't be a slouch. I feel it's going to be, like you say, it's all about how Potter can regroup. And I feel if there's one team that can benefit more of the World Cup from this Champions League draw, it's probably Chelsea. Because Potter is just going to be new manager. He can just be thinking throughout the month, okay, I'm seeing the players in the World Cup. I'm learning new stuff. I feel that can come in handy. But like I said, it's a good draw all around. I feel this one could be also the one to go to penalties or something.
Okay. Like that. Oh dear. Okay. I'll prepare myself then. No, I think also for Chelsea, it's the injuries. The injuries that Chelsea need back. Fofana, James, Kante. Yeah. There's more as well. There's always more at Chelsea. So we need the players back. Frankfurt versus Napoli, your favourites, BUGA. Napoli. Are Napoli going to go through here and really prove to themselves that they're one of the best teams in Europe?
Of course, my horse. Of course, my horse. Of course, Napoli are going to come through. I feel that it will be the one that's similar to Benfica. I feel that if there's one thing that can reduce the level of Napoli a bit, take it down a notch, it would be the fact that they don't have that constant football. Yes. And that could hurt them a bit. But let's be honest, Napoli played, if everything goes to plan, they should be able to come out of this tie. It's going to be interesting because the two stadiums are very hard stadiums to go to.
Yeah.
Frankfurt, their stadium, Napoli, the Olimpico. No, Olimpico, is it? No, I don't know what's in San Paolo. They changed the name. Now it's the Diego Armando Maradona. So they got Cavaradona as well. So Cavara is playing amazing for them. So
I might Napoli, bring him up later.
Yeah, Napoli for me, Napoli.
Okay. PSG Bayern is maybe the blockbuster tie of the round. I'm really unsure how to feel about this because I think Bayern in Champions League to me look like a super strong team, maybe the strongest team we've seen so far. The way they dispatched their group with Inter and Barcelona was just really impressive to me. And that wasn't an easy group. To just deal with it so comfortably was super strong. PSG looks so much better to me this season structurally. The way they've got Messi, Far, and we've spoken about this in previous weeks too. Messi, Neymar on form. If Mbappe gets his head screwed on again, that is one heck of a dangerous team. Second leg though in Germany, can PSG do a repeat of what they did a few years ago and knock Bayern Munich out? Or will it be Bayern who is too strong? Because if I had to go one way, gun to my head, I'm going to go Bayern Munich. But I think that will be an absolute nightmare for PSG going out in the round of 16 in the Champions League. How do you think this one's going to go, BUGA? Because either way here, we're going to be losing a massive, massive name in the round of 16.
I was in my reaction video initially when the draw came out in my channel, I said PSG, but after thinking more about it, I think it's gonna be Bayern. And I'll tell you why. I feel like one, they're too positive, right? The thing is that Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe are so talented that they can win you a game whenever they want. But in the World Cup, they're all gonna be rivals. And I think that's going to hurt them a bit, right? That it took so long for them to get their chemistry back. And now it's they're literally going to all fighting for the same tournament, for the same cup. And I think that can hurt them a bit. If Messi, let's say, I think either way, like I think if Messi loses the World Cup, like he doesn't win it with Argentina, he's gonna be, I'm not gonna say depressed, but I think he's gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Whilst if he win it, he's gonna be like even more enthusiastic to come here and try to win the Champions League. So I don't know. It really for me depends on those three players. I think it depends on those three players. It depends on Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. What happened with them? Because likewise, what happens if Neymar wins the World Cup? I think it's gonna be hyped as well. So those things can really turn the side upside down. For the sake of disagreeing, I'm gonna go PSG because I just want PSG to instill revenge on Bayern Munich for me, and I would like for PSG to. I feel it will be just too easy, or not too easy, too soon to see PSG out.
Yeah. Milan versus Tottenham. We saw AC Milan get kind of brushed aside by Graham Potter's Chelsea really comfortably. Actually, that was probably the best performances we've seen from Chelsea under Potter. Tottenham, we've spoken about them up and down and not good enough in big games and maybe like not changing formation, too stubborn. Are Tottenham going to make it through here? Because in my opinion, I think they are. I think Tottenham are going to go through here. I think Tottenham are going to maybe either lose or draw at the San Siro, but I think when they bring Milan back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I think they're going to win 3-0 or so. I think Harry Kane is going to get a few goals and Son's going to get the other. And I think Tottenham are going to go to the quarterfinals.
No, I think Milan are going to go through this one. I feel Milan. This is the one I also want for Milan. I feel all Italian clubs are going to progress to the next stage. That's my twisted take. I don't know if that's a twisted take, but I feel Milan. I know I like them. I remember. I always go back. To which it reminds me of which game. It reminds me of when Milan met United in the Europa League not too long ago, and
yes,
and they lost like 1-0. Like the difference in aggregate score was 1-0. And Milan also, like when they went to Liverpool, they almost won that game. It was like 4-3 or something crazy like that, 3-2. So I feel people do brush aside Milan. And let's remember, the Chelsea, the team that Chelsea met was completely like down due to injuries. And also that stupid red card of Tomori. So I don't know. I feel Milan can do something. I'm going to say Milan. I like them. I really like them. Zlatan is still going to be injured. Maybe he's going to come back after that. But if they get some few incorporations here and there as well, I don't know why not. I don't know why not. I feel that I feel very similar to the Dortmund versus Chelsea one. I feel Milan here will feel this is a good draw, and Tottenham will feel this is also a good draw.
Yeah, fair enough. The Europa League qualification draw was also made today. That was from sides dropping down from the Champions League, playing teams who finished second in the group in the Europa League. We got some good games. RB Salzburg Roma isn't a bad clash. Sevilla PSG is one I'm really interested in. You got Sporting Lisbon, Midtjylland as well. Ajax versus Union Berlin. That's a massive game for Schroeder's Ajax, who are really struggling right now. Juventus versus Nantes, and that's a good draw for Juve and Allegri, but one they needed as well. Shakhtar Donetsk versus Rennes. You got Leverkusen versus Monaco. But the one everyone is talking about today, BUGA, and that we have to talk about is Barcelona versus Manchester United. It literally, like the script was written, and UEFA said, yep, we are actually going to listen to the script, and we are going to draw that. So I'm going to hand to you, and then I'm going to say my thoughts. Barca versus Man U, second leg at Old Trafford, by the way. Qualification draw to just get to the round of 16 of the Europa League, not even, to be there already. One of these sides is going out this early on. That is massive.
It's massive. It really, really is. Like, I honestly feel that this is probably the third best tie of the entire draw, including the Champions League. Like, Liverpool, Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern, the two favorites, and then you could say Barca, United. Like, it's really that big. It's humongous. I feel there are many questions that can change this tie. Like, I feel Barcelona should feel confident because their form generally isn't that bad. In La Liga, they're still playing good football. They can come out of the games winning comfortably. They do show. I thought the game recently against Almeria was very, very good. I feel there was a very good performance from the team, and I think that Xavi really got to the players. Maybe the whole situation with Piqué kind of propelled them to have that sort of performance. But either way, I feel Xavi's doing a good job with his team. But the problem is mentally. If Barcelona do really take this, I feel that if Barcelona approach this game like they feel, United, and they, it's huge, like we're all talking about. I think that can get to it, to get to the players. I feel that could get to the players and that could hurt them a bit. I feel that's the aspect where United can really go to or hurt them. I feel Ten Hag's United, it's very inconsistent currently. Like some days they're going to play really good, but others are just going to have trouble like they did against Aston Villa. And I don't know. I'm leaning towards Barcelona. Yes, I'm leaning towards Barcelona, but the reality is that it's just a big game, and it's like I want to see that game. I want to see it. It's a good showcase for both sides, and I just like it. Ronaldo is gonna be there. I don't know. Is he gonna leave in the winter transfer window? Maybe. So there's quite a lot to digest. And let's remember, it's not like an easy United. Like a Casemiro against Barca. Casemiro is gonna be up for that game. Ronaldo is gonna be up for that game if he's still there. And I know you just know like someone like Lisandro Martinez. Like all those players are gonna be there. It's gonna be a good game. It's certainly gonna be a good game. I've seen some few videos of Manchester United fans, and they're not that excited. They're a little bit like us right now, where we are like, "Whoa, United," and they're like, "Whoa, Barcelona." But I feel that they can feel that they are underdogs in this one. Maybe they don't have even. I feel they don't have hope. But that I feel that if they don't have hope, that's a benefit for them.
Yes.
Because Barcelona, when they do look like the favorites like that, or they're in a situation like this, that's going to hurt them mentally, like I said before. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it makes it such a massive tie because I think whoever goes out, there's going to be a shitstorm that follows it. If Man U go out, people are going to go, oh my God, we were meant to be winning the Europa League this year. We've gone out before we even reached the round of 16. We finished second in our group. Oh my God, this is embarrassing and awful from Ten Hag and Ronaldo and everything. If Barcelona go out, it's that we not only dropped to the Europa League, we then went ahead and lost the first time we even got there. Like a bit similar to when we went out to Frankfurt last year, but to do it to Man U at Old Trafford would hurt even more. It is a massive game for Barcelona, by the way. The reason I'm happy about it is because it means we get another test in a big game. A European game, going away second leg. Literally, this sort of tie is what we absolutely hate. And that's why I think we're already thinking, yeah, we're in big trouble here. I think Barcelona fans are already thinking, okay, we could be out here. There's a good chance we're actually leaving the competition this early because we don't like this at all. We're already thinking we're going to concede a few goals at Camp Nou. When we go to Old Trafford, we're going to get run over by the atmosphere. We're already thinking that. So it's a massive chance for Xavi's Barcelona to prove themselves. And of course, it's a huge game for Ten Hag's Man U. That's why I say, whoever goes out, big issues. Whoever goes through, it's a massive win. It's a blockbuster tie, and it's like qualification round for the Europa League. So massive game out of nowhere. And I got to say, it changes everything in the season.
Yeah, they're tighter as well. I think in terms of level, that what they were when they met a few seasons ago in the Champions League.
Yes, yeah.
Because I went to that game. I went to that game and I was like, we beat United by 1-0 in Old Trafford, and then we came back and I was like, I honestly was like, I thought when I bought the ticket, I was like, this is going to be an incredible game. Barcelona versus United. But it was just like, meh. Like we ran over United. And that United was nowhere to be seen. And I feel now they're tighter. They're tighter in terms of level, in everything, in terms of quality, in terms of teams. They're much, much closer. And like you said, that factor that they're playing at Old Trafford in the second leg, that's massive. That's really, really big. This is going to be very interesting. It really is going to be very interesting. And I feel that, like you say, it looks rigged. It's like Europa, the UEFA. We're like, what do we need for everyone to watch our shitty Thursday night football? We need Barcelona versus United, and that's what they gave us. I'm not bad, but it's going to be interesting. And the Europa League is so difficult this year. Like, Barcelona versus an Arsenal, that's going to be an incredible game as well, football, if that happens, you know?
Yeah. If we
Barcelona versus a Juventus, that's still a good game. Yeah. And you just know that this competition is going to be hard either way.
Definitely. Some really good ties, actually. I'm content with the draw overall. I'm quite happy with some of the games. I'm really excited for PSG, Bayern. I'm excited for Liverpool, Real Madrid, even though I know Real Madrid are going through. I don't know why I still get excited when Real Madrid draw big teams. I just think someone's going to knock them out, but even though they're not. And for Barca, Man U, it's a big one, especially in the Europa League. So I'm excited. It means we get, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well. We're going to wrap up the episode, BUGA, of course. Just you and me, no John. I think we nearly hit the hour mark too. We did last episode, the biggest underachievers so far this season. Let's move on to some overachievers, some more positive stuff. Let's start with some teams. What teams have you got for us, Bulga, that you think have had an impressively surprising season?
Look, okay. So First of all, Napoli. You've already heard
Yep.
me praise Napoli time and time
Yep.
and time and time again. I feel that they are doing really good. I feel Luciano Spalletti is a very underappreciated manager. Like what he did with Inter was good. His Lazio team played even better than this Napoli side, but he just didn't have the personnel. I feel that Napoli is just a really, really good side, and maybe they can surprise some and maybe reach the quarterfinals. Yeah, reach the quarterfinals. Maybe 100% right against Frankfurt. Semifinals, who knows? I just want to see them play against another big team like they against Liverpool. The other team, I put Stade de Reims. I think Stade de Reims are third in the Ligue 1.
Yeah.
That's one that's going to cut some people by surprise. But they're doing really good. They have been unbeaten since the first 2 games of La Ligue 1 in August. So they're doing great. They finished here second. They're going to be facing Shakhtar Donetsk in the Europa League. Maybe they can also pull something out of the back there. And the last team that I had is Newcastle United. I feel Newcastle United being third currently, right? They just show they're a good team. And listen, I think they don't get that much recognition because it's like, oh, you have invested so much money and that. But it's like, dude, even without investing that much money, look at the team that they have. Like Dan Burn, that guy is playing like an absolute beast. You have Kieran Trippier as probably your best player in the team. And then you have Mickey Almiron just destroying on that right wing. It's like the team is not a superstar team. It's a good team. But what Eddie Howe is achieving, it's great. And for me, that's the biggest achiever, honestly, because I wasn't expecting Newcastle to be this good. And certainly not without big incorporations. Like I thought they would have already signed even better players by now. And they haven't. And they're looking like a unit. They're looking like a team. Like Josh Willett. What the hell, man? This guy is like a box-to-box midfielder all of a sudden. Joel Linton as well. And these two are third in the Premier League. That's what cuts my eye. It's really good by Newcastle.
Yeah. Very good shouts there. Teams we had to bring up. I've gone for a few more rogue shouts, so there's some teams lower down the table. First of all, I've got Barcelona's opponents tomorrow, Osasuna. Currently in Europa League spots, doing so well. I love Osasuna, by the way, as a team. I think they're going to give Barca a really tough game tomorrow. Currently sixth in La Liga, if I'm not correct. They've got some really good players in there. I think Moy Gomez they've got this season, who's starring for them. They've still got Kike out front too. So Osasuna, they're a team I'm a massive fan of. I also love the Basque teams. I've gone for Fulham as well in the Premier League. Yeah, they're only ninth, but just because for me, I honestly thought Fulham, and they might still, but I thought they were going straight back down because that's what they usually do. So the fact they're ninth probably should have got something out of City on the weekend, being 1-0 and City going out to 10 men in the first half. So that was unfortunate for them to concede the last-minute penalty. But I thought I'd put Fulham. And then a team I don't know much about, but I was looking through the tables. We've got Freiburg, are currently second in the Bundesliga, BUGA. Can you believe that? Because I looked at their team and I'm like, okay, who's actually that good, who I really like here? But they're second in the Bundesliga, which is crazy. I was going to put someone like Union Berlin, but Freiburg have been immense. They also topped the Europa League group, by the way, so they're not even in that playoff round either. So Freiburg I had to put. So those are my 3 teams. We're also going to do some players. I've got a few I want to talk about. First, I've got the Kvaratskhelia, if I've said that correctly, from Napoli. I had to mention him. Yeah. I know that's a very obvious shout, but I wanted to say him. I've got Granit Xhaka as well from Arsenal, because for me, like you mentioned him earlier, I think he's been massive for Arsenal this season. One of the best players in the Premier League, actually, and in Europe in midfield. I also put him as my star man for Switzerland because I think he's going to be big for them at the World Cup. And I just think he's been so imperative for what Arsenal are doing. But the reason I put him in that surprising players is because he's a player that gets a lot of stick, and people speak about him as the guy that ruins Arsenal games or is too hot-headed. But he's been calm, he's been composed, he's scored goals, he's helped the team out defensively. He looks like a leader in there. So I've gone for Granit Xhaka. And my last one is someone I have to talk about, and you might be having him on the list too, Alejandro Balde. What a player this guy's been for Barcelona. Literally unbelievable. I can't even tweet about him every week because it's the same tweet that I'd be doing every week because he's that good for Barcelona. Left back, right back. He just keeps going. Like, the level doesn't drop with Balde. I thought when he went to right back, I'd be like, oh, he's going to struggle here. But he just glides past players. On the ball, he's brilliant. He's impressive in the final third, the way he beats players. He's fast, he's strong. Defensively, he's sound. Positionally, he's perfect. He's slotted into that Barcelona team unbelievably, and he looks like the perfect left back now for the next decade for Barcelona. So I had to mention Balde because he has been unreal for Barcelona, one of the best young players in Europe we're seeing, by the way. Golden Boy candidate for the next year after Gavi won it this year. And I had to mention Balde because he has been immense for Barcelona and Xavi.
Yeah, I put Balde as well. I think that Balde, he really it's like, dude, like you said, he moved to the right back position and he's still playing really good. And I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I can't. Like, I just love this kid. And he's playing so good. Really, really, it's impressive. We see now the effort that Xavi has told to the board to renew him. Did you see that already they have given him a first team number for the next season? Did you saw that?
Yes. Is it going to be 12? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 12. It's 12. So you can just see that he's going to be a starter. Like, he's a starter now. Like, that's unbelievable. And only 18 years of age. Another player that I put next to Balde because I didn't know whether I wanted to put him or not because it was going to be a little bit like too biased, perhaps. I was going to say Lewandowski because I wasn't expecting Lewandowski to be quickly scoring as many goals as he did and influential in that aspect of his game. Also, when it comes to associative play, he's really good like that. Kvaratskhelia, once again, he's incredible. And the other player that I put Lewandowski as a rogue shout, is Miki Almiron. And once again, I have to put Almiron here. 8 goals in the Premier League. Dude, what the hell is this guy doing? And like I mentioned a long time ago, he didn't play good at all. And it was just like, this guy, you look at him and it's like, he looks like the average guy who sells you fruit at the market. Like, he's just your normal guy. And it's like, and he's like destroying Premier League teams. It's like, what the hell, man? So good on him. Honestly, good on him. I'm happy for him. He's a player that still, I just don't understand like how good he actually is. But it seems that with Eddie Howe, he somehow is working even better. And good, like a shout out to Miguel Almiron, to Newcastle. I think they're doing really good.
Yeah, of course. I knew you were going to bring out Almiron because it just had to be done. BUGA, have you got anything else to say, my friend, as we wrap up the episode? Or should we begin to wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to mention.
Yeah. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for watching again. Me and BUGA are going to wrap it up. Of course, we missed John this week. I'm even thinking now I miss John. I miss the moustache. We need him back, man. But he will be back next week, of course, to bring more hype and positivity to the show, guys. Thank you again, though, for everyone who tuned in and who watched. And make sure you follow us on our social media platforms, also on YouTube. More content is going to be coming out now, especially with the World Cup coming around, guys. We've got some big things coming, so thank you for sticking with us. And yeah, we're enjoying it. We're enjoying the journey. We're just building now. This is just the foundations, just the first few weeks. So we hope you guys are enjoying it so far. It's always a pleasure for us to come here and just speak all things football. And of course, with John, we of course have some even better chats there. But BUGA, do you want to round off and say goodbye to the people?
Yeah, goodbye to everyone. Really, like Pablo said, spot on. I think this is a foundation. We're working towards something really big, and I love it. Honestly, it's fun when you work, and that's the best piece of advice I can say to anyone listening. If you ever want to make something, find the right people to do it, and then you're gonna be very happy with it. Love it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching so much. We'll see you very, very soon, or for listening, of course, if you're not watching it on YouTube. Thank you for listening on Spotify or Anchor or wherever you're listening through. And we'll catch you guys very soon. Thank you for tuning in again, and goodbye.
Take care. Ciao, ciao.